What's going on, everyone? Welcome to 24/7 Football. And we have a new podcast to bring to you, which should be out every couple of weeks. And it's to do with our football website, 247football.com. Something that we've not really done on the YouTube side of things is really highlight the brilliant work in which our team of writers do on our website. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking through the articles on the website, bringing some of the writers into this podcast as well, so you can meet them and they can showcase, like I said, their brilliant work in which they are doing. And we have two new heads of website, which I thought it'd be brilliant to bring them in as well. Just to tell you the work that they've been doing on the site, what's changed and what we can look forward to as well. So we've got Adam Stevens and we've also got Jonathan Walker. They're the two new heads of website. Down below that is Peter Moore as well. He's one of the writers. We're going to talk through a little bit of Peter's work as well. But first of all, with Adam and Jonathan here, the two heads of website 247football.com. First of all, I'll let you introduce yourselves and what have you actually changed about the site and where can we expect it to go?
Cool. Well, hi. My name's Adam Stevens. I'm one of the co-editors, as George said, of the 24/7 Football Fans website. I was previously a writer for the site. I was mainly covering women's football, which we're slowly looking to bring in more as basically as it develops. We did one of our writers recently did a article on the Bundesliga women's football as well, which was it's very interesting as well. So we've changed slightly initially the WSL and put that more prominently on the website. And I also on a side note, I also contribute a bit to Give Me Sport as well and do some articles for them. So I'll let Jonathan introduce himself now as well.
Yep. So yes, I'm Jonathan. I also started as a writer for 24/7 Football. That was April last year. I was concentrating on my team, Nottingham Forest, to start with, and some weekly roundup of the Premier League at the beginning of last season. And then, like Adam, in April this year, we both moved forward in our roles to become editors of the website.
Yeah, like you say, it's brilliant for me to see where it's gone since I started it as a university project, and now, you know, it's really getting some momentum behind it as well, especially in terms of the website. You know, for writers who come in and get a bit of experience and go on to better things, that's what it's all about, and getting that experience for especially students and little bits like that is what makes it worth it. But Adam, in terms of the actual content on the website and the number of writers, it all seems to be the content's brilliant at the moment.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely like the last week we've had a couple of posts already looking at who will escape the drop on in Premier League. We've also had the analysis of the Championship, League One, League Two. It's definitely. We've also got some more European football added in as well, which we're looking to bring in a bit more with La Liga and Bundesliga as well, which I know a few writers are also keen to have a look at as well. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd say I watch a lot of the the Champions League and Europa League, so that's something else we will, once that gets restarted, we'll do previews and match reports on that side as well.
So what we've been saying is, in terms of writers coming onto this writing podcast, the website podcast, is that writers can come on and fully explain their articles and also how they got into it, what they've been doing in terms of journalism and where they hope to go and little bits like that. So you've got Peter Moore in the conversation today, in the hot chair, if you speak, Peter, the first one to do it as well. But you've already had a glittering career in terms of media and the sporting industry. Just let us know a little bit about you and what you've done before here.
Oh dear, how long have you got? No. in a nutshell, I am of the older brigade. Obviously, quite a few years advantage on you young guys, admittedly. So yeah, I've been in it a long time actually. Yeah, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I really do. Yeah.
So, in terms of writing for 24/7 Football as well, we'll get onto some of your pieces a little bit later on in the podcast. But in terms of the actual writers that are in there, can you really see that younger generation now coming in and writing some terrific stuff?
I certainly can. Yes. I must praise each and every one of 24/7. I think I've read all their pieces, and I've been really impressed actually. To be honest with you guys, sometimes you go on some websites and you look at some sort of writing and stories, and quite honest with you, it's all right, but the content isn't 100%. Yeah, but with you guys, I think the content's been absolutely brilliant. What I like about the site more than anything is you're not just focusing on the Premier League, which a lot of sites are just pure Premier League based only. You're focusing on my type of work as well, i.e. non-league football. Obviously, because I cover Woking, I've done them for many years as well, which is great to hear. And as Adam said earlier, touched on women's football in particular, which I think a lot of sites don't really promote women's football and European football as well. I mean, I appreciate now, obviously, with the Bundesliga being the first league back in business, so to speak, live on television. Admittedly, some more sites, surprise, surprise, are beginning now to start, hey, Bundesliga's the in thing, like,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't just revolve around the German league, does it? We've got the Spanish league, a Serie A starting, all sorts of leagues as well. So, yeah, no, that's what I like about it. It's not just purely, hey, let's build a site, let's concentrate on the Premier League, because let's face it, the Premier League gets so much exposure. Is there room for even more exposure from it? To me, it should go down to the lower leagues as well.
So, Adam, in terms of the articles that have been put out in the last week, what exactly have we had?
So as I touched on earlier, we had the German Women's League we touched on, basically, which was a very interesting article, because not a lot seemed to be kind of covered on that until, again, fairly recently, as Peter just touched on. It seems, and I mean, also the other one is the Women's Super League, obviously, was recently stopped as well, along with the Championship. So it's a question of kind of where does that kind of go going forward? Because I know Kelly Smith came out today and said even that women's football sort of kind of been pushed to one side in some ways. So it's kind of difficult to kind of see how they kind of regain that momentum again after, particularly after last year as well, in 2019 when they had the World Cup going on. So I don't know, Peter, if you'd be cared to weigh in a bit on that as well. Or...
Yeah, well, Kelly summed up my feelings entirely, to be honest with you, Adam. Yeah, I think women's sport has been pushed back, and it's been pushed back a long way. And that is a big worry, actually, I think, more than anything. Women's football, as you say, we had the World Cup, didn't we? The momentum factor was absolutely fantastic. The Women's Super League was really hitting the point, wasn't it? Where you were getting the good attendances. You were also, to be fair, getting some good press coverage as well. And let's face it, it's taken a hell of a long time to get some press coverage for women's football in general. And unless it's a big event that hits the screens or whatever. But aside from that, they deserve a hell of a lot of coverage by far and away. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's just so frustrating that we've got to a point of seasons where it just seems to be, not just in women's football, it just seems to be in women's sport in general, that all their leagues and everything is just being pushed to the back and at one side. And it just seems to be, it's a case of, well, let's forget about them. Don't worry about them. We'll come back to them perhaps in a year's time, which personally I just feel is totally wrong.
Just jumping on that point, I completely agree. I think for women's football, the WSL as well, it was such a good season in terms of you had a title race that was going to go down to the wire. You know, Chelsea had a game in hand. Who's to say whether they would have won that game in hand? And you also had relegation up for grabs as well. So you had a lot of competition in that league. And I don't know what it says about football to me in the fact that the Premier League and the Championship can come back, but the professional elite level of women's sport and also non-league and League One, League Two can't come back. And it just shows to me that football's not really about the fans and the love of the game anymore. It seems to me that it's all about financial gain and greed. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but for me, it was it sort of hurt me a little bit to see that that is the way that football's gone. Championship then, Jack Towers wrote that article about where he thinks the Championship's going to finish up. I mean, Peter, when you look at the Championship restarting, where do you expect the promotion places to go? Because again, it's another tight one.
Yeah,
It is. And I feel it could go the way of this restart. I know everyone's going to say Leeds, you know, West Brom, the obvious ones, but you've got to remember everybody's going to start from scratch. Forget about the form that they had going in before the break. You know, that isn't going to come into it. It really isn't. And there's going to be a hell of a lot of surprise results, I think, as well. I won't turn around and say there's going to be certainties. No. Yes, Leeds are going to be favourites, obviously. West Brom, that goes without saying. But after that, you could probably pick 6 or 7 other clubs who are going to be there or thereabouts in the mix still. But I don't think it's going to be an absolute gimme, even with Leeds and West Brom, because, as I say, you've still got, 8 or 9 more games to go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I say, everyone's going to start off completely. You know, this is going to be a new world, so to speak, right? You know, they're going to be playing in front of nobody. They won't have any home fans, as you know. Look at the Bundesliga. The amount of away wins, in particular, been absolutely astonishing. It really has. All right, aside from the obvious, you know, the Bayern Munichs and the Dortmunds, etc. But the rest of the league, probably anybody can beat anybody because home form goes completely out of the way by far and away. Plus, sides are going to pick up injuries as well. You know, everyone's not going to come back 100% fit as well. You're going to have key players probably go out. So I think there's going to be an awful amount of twist and turns still from this Championship. You're right. I mean, the Championship is always the hardest league to predict before a season starts. But now we're in these unprecedented times where results and absolutely anything could happen, guys. I really wouldn't like to say an absolute certainty, no, because there could be a couple of sides that really do surprise everybody in these remaining 9 games to come.
Yeah, Jonathan, you said about being a Nottingham Forest fan. I saw you comment on Jack's article that Forest shouldn't be counted out in terms of they've beaten Leeds, they've beaten the big sides. Do you think Forest could surprise a few on the restart?
What I would say is the restart will help Forest in a certain way. We lost the last game before the pandemic, 3-0 at home to Millwall. So in some ways it was not a good game because it's obviously the last game. You want to get another win under your belt. You've kind of got that result hanging in the wounds a little bit. On the other hand, I think we'll have a few players back from injuries as well. Obviously, other teams will have players' injuries and suspensions have lapsed since the pandemic. I would say I'm reasonably confident we can definitely get in the top 6. I think top 2 is probably going to stay as Leeds and West Brom.
Yeah.
As you know, anything can happen. So I would say top 6 for Forest, along with probably Fulham, Brentford, and the last place is still up for grabs. I think quite a few teams can still get there. Bristol City, I think, and Millwall, and Preston, I think, are the main contenders, but there's such a small gap down to kind of 10th, 11th, anyone can go on a run.
It's like picking
in there. Or again, from the Forest perspective, with the fact that we do better against the teams higher in the league, will work in our favour in the playoffs.
Well, you'd hope
we're
so.
Good at counter attacking, and we're good at away from home, which always helps in playoffs. So hoping that works in our favour.
Exactly. Just moving on to the last article that will be coming out on the website this week. It's from one of our newer writers, Graham Hanna. And there was a story, it was broke in the BBC, Adam, about FIFA fining a Northern Irish grassroots team, TW Braga, for the registration of one of their players, which was Hassam Ayari, who's gone now to Sheffield United. For FIFA to fine a grassroots football club that amount of money, I know Graham's gone a little bit more in depth and he spoke to the club director, but how out of touch are FIFA in that aspect?
It's definitely very, very, very questionable. I just can't see how they kind of justify why they're kind of finding a club which is still developing, particularly at grassroots level, and how they can it's questionable. I'd be interested to hear what Peter has to say on that as well. See what, I don't know if you read that article at all.
Yeah, I have actually, Adam. My thoughts are totally what you said, really. I mean, FIFA's a massive, big organisation. Grassroots football is completely light years away from what FIFA is. But why go and find somebody like that? I mean, my honest opinion will be, hey, doesn't that sum up FIFA in general? Do they really know what they're doing? I mean, we've had this debate before, haven't we, with FIFA and decisions. Let's be honest with you, you'd have to say that there's some very controversial ones they've had in the past, haven't they? And this I feel will be another one as well. I mean, if you're going to start going around finding grassroots small clubs in that manner, well, where and what is football coming to?
I think that's probably the perfect way to end it just there. I think those were the top picks from the website this week and what will be coming out in the next week as well. We'll do another website podcast in about 2 weeks' time, maybe with a different writer as well, just so we can see their aspects from their articles as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this type of format. It allows us to see what is happening on the other side of 24/7 football in the website as well. And you can check out the website in the link in the description. I'll type it in Google as well, 247football.com. Peter, it's been a pleasure to have you on today. Thank you for joining us. Adam and Jonathan, you do brilliant work, so thank you for coming on, and you guys will be on the next one as well. But that's it from us, so thank you for everyone for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it again. Subscribe to the channel, it really does mean a lot to us. Like the video as well. Like I said, check out the website, check out Peter on the socials as well. I'll put his links in the description. So thank you to everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.